Hello everybody, this is your Digital Super Saiyan 3, back here with another video, and I finally bring you my March pay-per-view review, WrestleMania 14, taking place March 29th, 1998, in the Fleet Center in Boston, Massachusetts, with Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. This show has a reputation for being one of the most important and most influential shows in WWE history, because this came out in a time period where the WWE/WWF, that the WWF was getting their asses handed to them by WCW in the Monday Night Wars ratings. So, Vince McMahon and his friends, or Vince McMahon and company, had to do something, and they had to do something quick. So, why not bring in Iron fucking Mike Tyson? Mike fucking Tyson, one of the biggest boxing names in the history of boxing, the youngest man to ever win the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship, the so-called baddest man on the planet. Well, the baddest man on the planet, as he was called. So, let's get into the show. We start off with a tag team battle royal as Hawk and Animal, LOD, basically came back as the LOD 2000 with a new look, and Sonny as their manager, win a tag team battle royal consisting of the Rock and Roll Express, the Nation of Domination, which had two teams representing the nation. Los Boricuas was in there, DOA was in there, and the New Midnight Express was in there, which was Bob Holly and Bart Gunn. Yeah, because that was a thing. So yeah, this match wasn't that great. I mean, yes, it's a battle royal. I don't really particularly have a thing for battle royals. But yeah, the LOD win, and it was for a tag team title shot at the next pay-per-view in April in Greensboro, North Carolina, at the Unforgiven show. Next up, our next match on the show is for the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship. As the champion, Taka Michinoku defeats Aguila in a really high-flying, good match this was. Now, here's the thing with the Light Heavyweight Championship. It was very inferior to the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. I mean, the Light Heavyweight Championship was just usually forgotten about, and even with people like Jeff Hardy and Dean Malenko who held this title was just usually the dark match title, where you usually see it in dark matches or occasionally see it on TV, because it's like, this is how much the WWF gave two little shits about it. But the match was fine. It was a fine match. It was very fine. Next up, we get Triple H defeating Owen Hart with Chyna handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter to retain the WWF European Championship. Now, this was a great match between Owen Hart and Triple H for the European Championship. And yes, this was the first of two times that the DX band was playing live. And yes, I'm aware that the DX band on this show wasn't that great with them playing live. And yes, the DX band was just better at having their... was just not really worth having play live. But yeah, but Triple H gets the victory representing D-Generation X. So, and my favorite part of this is how the finish of this match came about, with Chyna throwing powder in Sergeant Slaughter's face, and then she decked Owen Hart, pedigree to Owen Hart, 1, 2, 3, Triple H is your victor. So, it was a really good match. Next up, we go to an interview with Jennifer Flowers and The Rock, and Jennifer Flowers interviews The Rock, asking The Rock, what would it be like if he be the president of the U.S.? And, well, this was a very funny interview. I mean, this was during Rock's big heel turn that he had back at the end of 97 when he joined the Nation of Domination. He said, the term leader is just redundant or is beneath me. I prefer the term ruler. So now we get to our next match, which was a mixed tag match as Sable and Marvelous Mark Marrow defeat Goldust and Luna Michon in a mixed tag match. And yeah, this mixed tag match was nothing special or just, the only one who was ever over was Sable. Sable basically just hijacked, Sable and her fans just hijacked this entire match because, of course, this was the era of Sable. This was 1998. The era of Sable. So, yeah. And I'm going to get into more of that in July when I do Fully Loaded 98. But, my God, can you believe this was just... This mixed tag match, the only one who looked strong in this match was Sable. And she got the victory with the TKO. 1, 2, 3. Sable and Marvelous Mark Marrow are your victors. And this is basically part of this whole storyline that she has with Marvelous Mark Marrow, where Mark Marrow was trying to shame Sable. And also the fact that Goldust and Luna got involved and yada yada yada. I don't want to go too much into it. But yeah, this was also during the time that Goldust was doing the artist formerly known as gimmick. And yes, Goldust is still going today, but this time in AEW. As himself as Dustin Rhodes, the man, not Goldust. Because that is passé. So now, we get to our next match for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. For the Intercontinental Championship, we got The Rock defeating Ken Shamrock via disqualification. Basically, the referee reversed their decision after Shamrock refused to let go of the ankle lock. Shamrock went fucking nuts. He destroyed referees, he beat up the entirety of the nation. And, of course, this leads into the aftermath on the next night on Raw, where The Rock would abandon Farouk, because this was part of the year where he was at odds with Farouk, and finally, the Nation of Domination would finally blow up from within, after The Rock would kick Farouk out of the group and take over his spot as the ruler of the nation. This match was nothing special, but Ken Shamrock definitely looked dominant here. Next up, we get a dumpster match for the WWF Tag Team Championships as Cactus Jack, aka Mick Foley, hello again, teams with Chainsaw Charlie, aka Terry Funk, to take on the New Age Outlaws. And this was before the Outlaws joined DX, because the next night on Raw, the Outlaws during the main event would get their rematch with Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack inside a steel cage, where they would win back the Tag Team Championships from Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie. and would join D-Generation X. So, with that being said, this match was great. This dumpster match was great. You have to put both your opponents inside the dumpster. This is probably the best dumpster match ever done in WWE history. I mean, because the dumpster match was kind of rare to see because, well, you didn't see too many of these matches. I mean, this dumpster match only came about because last month we all remember that Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie on Raw were put in a dumpster by the New Age Outlaws, where the New Age Outlaws pushed the dumpster off the stage with Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack in it. Yeah, trying to end two men's careers. But this was a great dumpster match, nonetheless, a fun little gem. Next up, we get my favorite match of this show. And yes, I am going to do a follow-up to this video with my top 10 WrestleMania matches, which is The Undertaker defeating Kane in a great match. This was a battle of the monsters, brother versus brother. This had been building since October when Kane debuted back at Bad Blood. During the first ever Hell in a Cell match, when Kane attacked The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell, tombstone The Undertaker straight to hell. Kane had been on a rampage. And basically, what sealed the deal to finally get this match over, after Undertaker said, "No, I will not fight my own brother." After being finally provoked to the brim, to the boiling point, at the Royal Rumble in 1998 in San Jose, The Undertaker got locked inside a casket when Kane locked The Undertaker inside a casket along with Paul Bearer and lit the damn casket on fire. Paul Bearer, who basically was in Kane's corner for this match at Mania. This was an awesome, epic battle as these two were just trying to beat the shit out of each other. And it was awesome. It took 3 tombstone pile drivers to put Kane away. And yes, this was also the first time of this trilogy where Kane would tombstone Pete Rose, or would beat the shit out of Pete Rose. Because Pete Rose was the guest ring announcer for this match, and then he got destroyed by Kane. And yes, Pete Rose got destroyed 2 more times at the following 2 WrestleManias. Now we come to the main event. The one we've been waiting for the WWF Championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin challenging Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship with Mike Tyson as the special guest enforcer. My God, this was an epic matchup. Triple H and Chyna were out there with Shawn for the first half of this match, well, for the beginning of this match, until Triple H physically got involved, and so did Chyna, and they were attacking Austin. But then the WWF officials, they forced Triple H to go to the back. Then it was Austin and Michaels one-on-one. And Mike Tyson was wearing a DX shirt because he had joined DX in the build-up to this show. What an intense match this was. It may not have been one of Shawn Michaels' finest, since Shawn was actually hurt from a back injury, a career-threatening back injury after he was dropped on the wood of the coffin, or the wood of the casket, back at the Royal Rumble when he was facing The Undertaker. But my God, this was a great match. We all know how this match ends. Michaels tries to go for the sweet chin music. Austin counters. Tries to go for the stunner. Michaels counters. Michaels tried to go for another kick. Austin blocks. Then, the stunner. Mike Tyson comes in to make the 3 count. The Austin era begins. All hell yeah. And it was a great payoff in the end. So, in a sense, WrestleMania 14 was one hell of a ride. Final thoughts, I gotta say WrestleMania 14 was probably I would say it would be in my top 5 for sure of my favorite WrestleManias. Anyway, this has been your Digital Super Saiyan 3, and I'll see you later for my top 10 WrestleMania matches this month.